This video is brought to you by Craven's Comic Books and Collectibles. Check out their weekly live show, auction, and sale at facebook.com/cravenscomics every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And you can check out their inventory at cravenscomics.com. Craven's Comics, for the comics you crave. Welcome to the program, Praneet Akilla.
Hey guys, thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for coming back. Yeah, it's good to have you back, man. And I was saying before you came on that you're like the second season secret weapon now. You know, second season of Nancy Drew, second season Motherland.
Oh, I know. I have a lot of friends and family have made fun of me about this, so you know, I'm an actor for hire, man. I will do anything and everything, especially when it comes to these two worlds. It's incredible. So I'm excited.
That's awesome, man. So tell us about Motherland, Fort Salem, and your role in it. Of course, it's come back for the second season. Very much a alternate history of the United States, where the army is made up of witches and warlocks, and I'm guessing you're probably part of that army.
I am one of the few male witches on the show, and specifically at War College, where the second season essentially follows the three main female witches, our three main characters, as they move off and go off into War College, and get exposed to the bigger threats of the world, the politics that are involved in this universe. Just to get a bit of context, it's basically about a world where, the Salem witches make a deal with the United States government in exchange for their lives will be your army. And now set in sort of fictional modern times, where the witch army is up against an ancient enemy known as the Camarilla, and they've also already been battling the Spree, which is a group of witches that don't believe that conscription should be legal. And so they've got a lot of wars on many fronts. And but within all of those things, it's a very fantastical, supernatural show with lots of action elements, but also a strong sort of emotional core. And I get to be a small part of that. So, yeah.
That's awesome. It must be a lot of fun coming into a show that is so out there in its storytelling. It's like Nancy Drew's, even with its fantastical elements, is still pretty more grounded compared to what Motherland is compared to our daily lives. Like you are witches and warlocks, right? So you get to do some crazy things.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, my first day on set, I was battling monsters for both shows, right? I was battling. Well, on my first day on Nancy Drew, I was coming out of an exploding bus, running away from a monster that was chasing us. And my first day on Motherland, I was punching a monster in the face. So it's crazy. Like, you do all this this training as an actor, and everything's dignified, and you think about Scorsese and Spielberg and all these roles and stuff, and it's just like, no, I'm just here to kick butt and kick monster ass, But it's honestly, I think what's great about both these shows is, yes, there is that supernatural element and there's heightened sequences and things like that, but I think ultimately it doesn't work. Both shows don't work narratively if they're not grounded in something, and I think that's what it's really tapped into with both fan bases. I think they both sort of see themselves in both the character of Nancy Drew and the characters that are in that show, as well as Motherland, where they see themselves as the other, and trying to belong is a theme that's prevalent in both of them. Specifically for my character, Gregorio in Motherland, it's interesting for him because he's the minority on the show. A male witch and a female dominant witch army. And for him, his purpose really is to breed, is to grow the line of female witches so they can keep going, And so I don't know, Gregorio doesn't necessarily like that being the only purpose for a male witch necessarily. And so a lot of the season is about him sort of exploring what he actually wants and making his opinions about how male witches should be treated known very frequently, even if people don't want to know.
No, totally. But yeah, no, that's very interesting because the thing I remember about the first season is that it was very sexually charged, and so everybody was going through spring fever all the time on that show.
Hormones and all those fun things. Yeah. It's interesting because it is I was watching the show and I'm like, it's Disney, it's freeform. And I was kind of in shock. Like, I didn't know we were going that, that sexual. But I think the second season, it's darker. And there's more of that certainly, but there's also a lot more sadness than that too. So it's like we go in a slightly different direction this time around. I think it's a little more adult this time.
Oh, definitely. Well, we got an email in from Kelly T, who writes, "Love Nancy Drew, great actor, love this guy." And then
thank you.
Yeah, and then she goes on to give a early review of the film we're reviewing later. "Who are you, Charlie Brown?" A 10 plus. So positive vibes all around from Kelly. Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kelly.
So yeah, like with these roles that you've been doing, right? Like as you mentioned, you're doing these like fantastical things. You're getting like you fighting monsters on your first day on set. I got to imagine that when you go back to, like, as you mentioned earlier about like when you're training to be an actor and stuff, it's not exactly the first thing that comes to mind, like when you think back to where you were in school and you were training to become an actor, did you ever really think that the monsters were going to be like the first thing you do on a set when you show up?
No, I can say that from October Faction to Nancy Drew to this, I didn't plan it this way. I swear to God, I did not plan being in these universes this way. But you know what? If I'm gonna do something, it's gonna be this fun. Like I just, I think I'm happy that not only have I been surrounded by a great cast and crew on all projects, but I'm kind of happy that it brings out my childlike sense of wonder and imagination that we all have as actors. There's a reason why we all fall in love with this craft and this medium, and it's because of storytelling. And as my career goes on, I hope to never lose that part of it, that joy of just being able to kick monster butt, and just like, play in those worlds. But certainly, no, I didn't envision any of this. Like I was a chemical engineer in a booth, in an office cubicle, in the middle of Canada. Like I didn't really envision any of this, to be honest. And so when I took the leap of faith and quit my job and decided to pursue this, it's funny, like I'll be talking to my friends, like some of them are doctors and lawyers and engineers and stuff, and we'll be talking, and they'll just be like, yeah, I was doing this important surgery, and I was there, and it was a heart surgery, and and I'm like, yeah, I came to set to say two things, and then I went home and napped, and it's like, because that's how sometimes it works, right? The schedule's like some days I have a lot, and then some days I literally am there to say one line and go home. And it's crazy to me to think that this is a job, but I'm very, very grateful.
Oh, definitely.
That's got to be fun though. You got to be like, you went to school for all those years. You got to, blood, sweat, and tears, every day at your job, you're doing surgery, you're covered in blood. And then you're just like, yeah, I got some fake blood poured on me. I said my 2 lines. I took a nap, it's
yep. Listen, hard work, a hard day's work, that's
They're jealous of you, Praneet. That's what it comes down to.
Exactly.
Every time they give you a hard time, you just got to remember they wish they could be just fighting the monsters.
It's so funny. I think my grandma, who still never understood what I was doing ever, for the first time, she knows Nancy Drew because she grew up with it, and she grew up with the Bobbsey Twins books as well. Yeah. And what was crazy is she finally supported the decision that I made when she texted me a screenshot of her watching Nancy Drew on an illegal streaming device, with like me on the thing, and it kept freezing. So she would just take a picture each time it froze to keep sending me screenshots of it frozen. and she was just like, "You're playing the Bobbsey twin. Like I thought they were supposed to be white. I didn't know that they changed the color, like the ethnicity." And that was a kind of a proud moment, because I'm just like, this woman like grew up in the 40s and 50s in India and had the Bobbsey Twins books, and to think her grandson was now that person on mainstream American TV on her illegal streaming device. It's kind of crazy. And so I think it all came kind of full circle there in that moment.
Well, definitely. I think the illegal streaming device is what really like seals the deal on that. Like that's the nice cherry on the sundae there. That's hilarious. And we've all come a long way. Exactly. We've all come a long way, exactly. even when finding our entertainment, definitely. Oh man. But of course, we actually back in March we had Adila Dasani on the show. Yeah. And man, we had so much fun with her. She's a spitfire. She's got a ball of energy, tons of great stories. So what was it like playing her brother?
Everything. Adila is one of my closest friends. She's my sister, basically, in real life now too. She's it's so funny because we both grew up in the same hometown, but we never knew each other. like at all. And then we reconnected because of this role, you know.
Right.
And I always heard about her in the Toronto and Vancouver sort of acting circles, you know, about her career and how incredible she was. And not only that, she coaches a lot of younger actors and mentors them and stuff. And I happen to be one of them. And then, you know, of course, we get cast as brother and sister, and that sort of started the blossoming of our relationship. And she's been there since day one for me. You know, it's a lonely business. It's a lonely, hard, tough business. With moments of incredible joy, of course, but you know, during those low moments, it's so nice to have an I guess like an anchor, you know, to lean on when times are tough. And she's always been there for me since day one. And not only that, I learned so much just by watching her work. So yeah, she is that's a perfect word, Spitfire. That's exactly what she is. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to imagine though, having somebody like that in your corner, you know, in the profession of acting, which can be so cutthroat and sometimes demoralizing, you know, because you're always going out for stuff that, you know, you amongst 100 other people are trying to get those roles, and it's a tough road to walk alone. So it must have been really great having somebody like that in your corner, you know, before all this.
100%, and even just in terms of, again, like these are technically Caucasian characters, right? And as actors of color, you know, this industry has been hard on us historically. You know, I can remember so many auditions being 7-Eleven convenience store owners and terrorist number 1 and terrorist number 2, and you know, it just those characters over and over and over again being asked to do an Indian accent in the audition room when you know when the character didn't even call for it. And so from going through those experiences, and Adila, she has more seniority over me. Like she's been doing this way longer, and she's seen the worst the business has to offer, really. And I came in when things were getting better, and I kind of, you know, I attribute a lot of what people like her and her generation sort of went through to pave the way for someone like me to just, you know, leave my chemical engineering cubicle and come in and have some of these roles to play. It doesn't happen without the fight that people like Adila put up, you know, before people like me came in. And so I think my sort of gratefulness towards her goes in a multitude of ways, but that's a big reason why, you know, getting to play love interests on a mainstream American show and being South Asian at that is huge. And yeah.
No, totally. And, you know, of course, you've been branching out in the world of entertainment, not just as an actor, but also as a producer. I know that the short film Mom vs. Machine, it played at the Crazy 8 Film Festival and is now doing the festival circus. Tell us a little bit about Mom vs. Machine.
Mom vs. Machine came from an idea that I had. It's based on a semi-true story. My mom loves to cook. She's incredibly passionate about cooking. And I, for Christmas in 2019, surprised her with an automatic roti maker. And essentially it's like this incredibly artificially intelligent like roti maker that makes rotis, so that, you know, you don't have to roll the dough with your hands and stuff. And I brought it as a stress relief gift. And she was kind of weirdly offended by it, being like, how dare you take away like what I'm actually passionate about? Like, you just think like this machine's just going to take over my life. And that sprung up the idea of like, what if like a machine like literally replaced my mom? And what would my mom do? Like, how would she feel about it? You know? And so that's what birthed this idea, this movie that came about. It's about a mom who competes for her son's affection when he buys an Indian food making robot. And it's a comedy. It's a sci-fi comedy. What I really wanted out of it is to have front and center like a 60-year-old Asian mom being this badass action hero, and that's what this movie delivers on. You know, so often a lot of our stories are based in traumas and based in just like the typical stereotypical things. I wanted brown people in a South Asian movie, science fiction South Asian movie, you know. And so yeah, it's just really funny. It's really funny. It's there's a lot of action in it, and it's right now making the festival rounds, and I should be able to announce some news hopefully soon.
That's great. Yeah, no, I'm very interested in that. Also, it would be fun to get to see you in a comedy, because we're used to seeing you now as sort of like the kind of like slightly brooding, slightly misunderstood type
Broody
guy.
McBroodster.
Yeah.
I know.
Like, I'm like, did you crack a smile on Nancy Drew? I don't think you did.
Not a single time. I don't think a single time I did. And it's so funny. Like my manager also, like he he texted me the other day, and he's just like, "You literally, I forget what your teeth look like. I don't know what your smile looks like anymore. I genuinely don't know." But hey, that's gonna change. Motherland, I'm the comic relief the entire time.
Here we
I'm
go.
I'm literally there. I'm the snarky, witty dude that when shit gets bad, I'm the guy that makes that stupid remark. Like I get to be the full comic relief, and I love comedy. I do lots of improv and stuff like that. So for me, finally, I get to play the comic sidekick. That I've always wanted to do, and it's more in line with my personality type. I'm not the broody McBroodster in real life. I'm more like that idiot on the side, and so I get to play that finally, which is awesome. And even Mom vs. Machine, that's purely comedy. Like that's me as a complete buffoon, and I just get to make fun of myself, and it's great.
That's awesome. So in both instances, with Motherland Fort Salem and Mom versus Machine, you get to play the comedy sidekick to some badass women.
Exactly. And hey, I that's yeah. I didn't think about it like that, but now that you brought it up, yeah, certainly, yeah, it's great. It's great being on a set filled with like incredible, strong women that are so good at their craft. You learn so much.
Definitely. We got an email in from Mike C that says, "Wow, a chemical engineer? Who knew? Interesting." And then goes on to say, "Love Charlie Brown, a 10 rating, very entertaining. Thanks." Well, thank you, Mike, for your email.
Yeah, so we're going to look at Motherland and Mom versus Machine as the turning point in your career. I'm going to say, right? Is this what we're looking at now? This is now we're making the comedy pivot. That's
yes. Yeah. I'm going to play George Costanza Part 2 in the next iteration of Seinfeld.
That would be awesome.
That's the goal, really. Seinfeld.
Yeah, Seinfeld, the next generation.
Exactly. He's making a movie actually about what was the news that I saw? He was making a movie about the founding of the Pop-Tart.
Right, yeah, for Netflix, yeah.
Okay.
Listen, you need a person who can be that person for you, Jerry. Call me. You know where I am. Actually, why am I saying that? He has no idea who I am. But you know.
Hey, man. Keep that confidence. He knows who you are.
Yes, this is true. Yes, Jerry, call me, please. Yeah. You know where to find me.
It's working for other actors now. You might as well start doing that. Just get out there and just start just be like Praneet for Pop-Tarts. That's it. This is what it is. Hashtag Praneet for Pop-Tarts.
Listen, the alliteration works perfectly. The double P and everything. It's a marketing. It's just a marketing executive's dream, really.
No, so. Of course, totally.
Exactly.
But it's interesting, talking about shooting your shot and putting stuff out in the world, self-actualizing. You kind of did that recently on Twitter, putting out there saying, "I'm going to be the lead of a musical TV series. I'm going to be a Disney prince. I'm going to be a fighter pilot in an action movie." And then the next day you kind of throw out hey, one of these things might have already, might be happening. That's really cool when you can put that stuff out there and then the opportunities kind of end up falling into place.
I'm so excited. I can't say what it is at all. And I know I'm being an absolute dick by doing that on Twitter, by saying oh, I can't say anything. And then making people wait. I know, but I just couldn't help myself. But yeah, man, I'm just so excited. One of those has come true, not exactly in the way I have written it. I wrote it out, but there's a lot of hard work behind the scenes, and a lot of this business is hard work meets preparation, and then the opportunity comes your way, and that's essentially luck. And I think obviously I've spent a lot of time in the October Faction universe and Motherland and Nancy Drew, and I kind of want to start branching out now. And luckily, I was able to sort of give that directive to my team and search out for some great meaningful roles and fulfill some of my other fantasies and other goals in this business. And I believe in manifestation. With hard work, of course, otherwise it's just daydreaming. But, I think in this instance, it worked. I think on that day I was feeling a little low and I was just like, I've worked so hard. I just want to put it out there in the universe and just ask the universe for something. And luckily one of them happened. But I'm sure I can, as soon as I'm allowed to say something, I will gladly announce it.
That's awesome. And when you do end up doing it and it's ready to come out, of course, we'll want to have you back on to talk about it.
I would love to.
Perfect. Good stuff, man. Oh, man. Well, I want to thank you for coming back on the show, man.
Thank you.
It's been fun seeing your career progress. Like again, when you got the Nancy Drew thing, and it's like, it's like, oh, look at him. He's a badass the entire time. He's a tough guy who's going through some shit. Really enjoyed it. And well, it's still jarring for me to see Nancy Drew in such a supernatural level.
Yeah.
I think that the stuff you guys have done together as a cast has been great.
It's one of the best casts in television. And of course I'm a little biased, but like it's the casts on both shows really are just tremendous. Typically those shows with their demographic, they get a bad rap of being really one dimensional and stuff like that. But that couldn't be further than the truth. I think both the artistry, not just on a cast level, but even as a crew, the stunt performers, the production designers, the art department, the people that actually make our worlds what they are, they never get enough credit. And so I want to shout out those people really for creating such incredible worlds that we all fall in love with. And yeah, hopefully I'll have more news on Nancy Drew season 3 as well. There's some stuff that we can't say yet, and yeah, hopefully we can keep going. I love both shows. So yeah.
See, this is how we know that you're doing well, is when you have multiple things that you are not allowed to talk about. That's a hallmark of somebody's career is doing
the
well.
Sign of success. I've got so many things going on. I can't say anything at all.
I got into trouble for putting the trailer for Nancy Drew out. I got into so much trouble, and it made no sense because I was in the trailer. And I was just like, but you said my name and then you put my face in the trailer, but then I got into trouble for putting it out apparently because they wanted to do like an official release and stuff. And
Yeah.
but listen, it's my first time, man. I don't know. I'm still an engineer in so many ways. A lot of this stuff is so new to me. I just get excited and I just like put stuff out,
Yeah, of course, man.
Yeah, I've had to get media training, to really understand. Like, yeah, you can't say just because you're excited doesn't mean you can say things. There are things called NDAs.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, well, that's the boring business side of it.
Yeah, exactly. Let the lawyers deal with that.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
That's right. That's the best attitude to have. Just do what you want and let the lawyers sort it out.
Never goes wrong for anybody.
No,
Never. No consequences whatsoever. It's fine.
Of course not, man.
He's in front of the judge. He's going, they told me to do whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
I was just excited.
Yeah.
No.
Oh man, well, thank you so much for coming back on the program, man.
Guys.
And we look forward to, of course, more of Motherland Fort Salem, but also whatever the secret is. We can't wait to find that out as well.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Have yourself
Thanks
a great
for being
night, man.
You too. Take care. Take care, everyone. Thank you.